The Lincoln cent has long been one of the most collected coins in the history of the United States Mint. Ever since its introduction in 1909, when Victor David Brenner's design first graced the 1-cent coin with the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, it has been a favorite not only among coin collectors but also among everyday Americans who cherished finding them in their change. By the mid-1990s, the Lincoln cent was everywhere. Billions were struck every year, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. And yet, among these billions, there exist a handful of coins that stand apart, coins that transform from an ordinary 1-cent piece into a highly prized collectible worth anywhere from $3,800 to as much as $110,500. The 1995 Lincoln cent is one of those fascinating stories in the world of numismatics. At first glance, the 1995 penny seems completely ordinary. It carries the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, just as it had for decades, with the motto "In God We Trust" stretched along the top, "Liberty," to the left of Lincoln's profile, and the date, 1995, positioned neatly to the right. On the reverse, the coin still bore the depiction of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design that had been used since 1959, when it replaced the wheat stalks that had graced the earlier Lincoln cents. For most Americans in 1995, a penny was simply pocket change, something dropped into vending machines, handed over at the corner store, or saved in piggy banks. No one looked twice at it. But what made this year stand out was an extraordinary variety that would become one of the most famous double-die coins of the modern era. The 1995 double-die obverse penny is what truly pushed the 1995 cent into the spotlight. Unlike ordinary strikes, some 1995 cents show clear doubling in the inscriptions on the obverse. When you look closely at "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," the letters appear doubled, almost like a shadow effect. To the trained eye, this doubling is unmistakable, and it quickly became one of the most sought-after modern-era coins once collectors discovered it. The double die was caused by a flaw in the die creation process, where the design was impressed more than once onto the working die at slightly different angles. When coins were then struck with this die, the doubling transferred onto every penny it struck. What makes this variety particularly fascinating is that it was released into circulation before the mint realized the error, meaning millions of them could have entered the hands of everyday people. Imagine going to the grocery store in 1995, receiving change, and unknowingly walking away with a coin that could one day be worth thousands of dollars. It was, and still is, the kind of discovery that ignites the imagination of collectors everywhere. Collectors prize this double-die error, especially in high grades. Circulated examples can fetch respectable sums, but it is the uncirculated coins, preserved in pristine condition, that bring the most attention. When certified by grading companies in top mint state condition, these coins can sell for staggering amounts at auction. The price range is where things get exciting. Depending on the sharpness of strike, level of preservation, and demand among collectors, these coins can be worth anywhere from $3,800 all the way up to $110,500. That leap in value is what makes the 1995 penny such a thrilling subject in the numismatic world. The story of this coin isn't just about rarity, though, it's also about timing. By the 1990s, coin collecting was already a widespread hobby in the United States, and the introduction of such a prominent modern double die was a major event. It reignited interest in searching through change, a practice that had been especially popular in earlier decades when more dramatic varieties like the 1955 double die cent were first discovered. The 1995 double die brought that same energy into a new generation, encouraging countless people to check every penny they came across in hopes of striking it rich. The popularity of this coin also underscores the importance of errors in the hobby. While the mint strives for perfection, mistakes happen, and those mistakes can sometimes become treasures. The double die process, in particular, has given collectors some of the most legendary coins in U.S. history. From the 1955 and 1972 double dies to the 1995 cent, these coins hold a special place because they are not just minting flaws, they are visible, striking, and undeniably unique. Another aspect that makes the 1995 cent engaging is how it highlights the role of grading. A circulated coin with visible doubling might sell for a modest premium, but when a coin is preserved in mint state condition with sharp luster and few marks, it becomes a showpiece. Collectors and investors alike flock to auctions to acquire the finest known examples, and it is in these rarefied sales that the coin has achieved its highest prices. Imagine sitting in a crowded auction hall as bidding starts at a few $1,000s and steadily climbs. The tension building until the final hammer falls and a humble 1-cent coin has just sold for over $100,000. These moments remind us of the power of rarity, condition, and collector passion. The 1995 penny also connects collectors to history in a unique way. While it may not date back centuries, it is still part of a broader narrative of American coinage. The Lincoln cent is the longest-running design in U.S. history, and each year carries with it a snapshot of the time in which it was minted. In 1995, the United States was in a period of economic growth and cultural change. The internet was just beginning to reshape society, and yet coins like the Lincoln cent tied people to traditions that went back generations. The idea that a coin from this year could achieve values as high as $110,500 adds a sense of awe. It reminds us that history is not always about the distant past. Sometimes it's about the everyday objects we use without a second thought. Stories of lucky finds add to the fascination. Some people have reported discovering 1995 double-die pennies in pocket change years after they were minted. Others have uncovered them in old rolls saved away in drawers or coin jars. The thrill of finding such a coin is indescribable. It's the treasure hunter's dream come true. This element of surprise and possibility is what keeps so many collectors engaged in the hobby, always searching, always hoping. But beyond the excitement of discovery, the coin also serves as an important reminder about attention to detail. Most people would never notice the doubling unless they looked closely, and yet that small detail transforms the coin's value exponentially. It is a lesson not only for collectors but also for life, that sometimes the smallest differences can make the biggest impact. As collectors continue to pursue the 1995 penny, demand remains strong, particularly for the finest known examples. Auction records and private sales continue to demonstrate that buyers are willing to pay incredible sums for top-grade pieces. And with values ranging from $3,800 to $110,500, this coin stands as one of the most dramatic modern varieties in the U.S. cent series. So, if you happen to have a jar of old coins lying around, it might be worth taking a second look. That seemingly ordinary 1995 penny could hold a surprise, especially if it shows signs of doubling on the obverse. Who knows, it could be the kind of coin that transforms a single cent into a life-changing treasure. The 1995 1-cent coin reminds us that even in the most common objects, there is potential for greatness. It is a coin that has traveled through hands, pockets, and cash registers, carrying with it the hidden possibility of extraordinary value. And it shows us that in the world of numismatics, magic can be found in the smallest details, turning something as simple as a penny into a story worth more than $100,000. The year 2000 might feel recent to many of us, but in the world of coin collecting, even modern coins can hold secrets that transform them from pocket change into treasures worth thousands of dollars. Among the coins minted that year, the U.S. 1-cent penny stands out as a fascinating story of rarity, value, and the thrill of discovery. To most people, a penny from the year 2000 is just another copper-plated zinc coin featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. They are so common that millions circulate without a second thought. But hidden among those millions are a few extraordinary examples. Coins so well preserved, so perfectly struck, or so unusual in their variety that collectors are willing to pay staggering sums for them. In fact, some 2001-cent pennies have been known to sell anywhere from $3,500 to as high as $102,000, turning what appears to be spare change into a collector's dream. The design itself was already long familiar to Americans by 2000. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had gone through one major reverse design change in 1959, shifting from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial. By 2000, people were well used to seeing Lincoln's dignified portrait on the front and the memorial on the back, with E pluribus unum and United States of America emblazoned above and below. This design was meant to symbolize unity, strength, and national pride, but because of its ubiquity, most people no longer noticed the artistry behind it. Yet collectors, with their sharp eyes, began noticing certain details that made the 2000 penny anything but ordinary. One of the key factors that makes some 2000 pennies valuable is condition. A coin that has circulated through years of pocket change, vending machines, and coin jars is not going to fetch high prices. but a coin that has been preserved from the moment it left the mint, kept in pristine condition with brilliant luster and absolutely no scratches or wear, can skyrocket in value. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC have awarded top mint state grades to only a handful of 2000 pennies, and it is these coins that spark intense bidding wars at auctions. The difference between a common penny and one that sells for tens of thousands of dollars comes down to these subtle distinctions of strike, shine, and preservation. The Lincoln Memorial reverse also adds to the challenge. On many coins, the details of the memorial, its columns, steps, and inscriptions, are not sharply struck. Collectors who demand perfection look for coins where these details are crisp and full, adding to the difficulty of finding such examples. Out of the millions of 2000 pennies struck, only a handful meet the criteria that serious collectors pursue. That is why, when such a coin is found in flawless mint state, its value can leap into the extraordinary. But beyond condition, there are also fascinating varieties and errors that make the 2000 penny highly collectible. One of the most famous varieties from that year is the so-called wide AM reverse. Most 2000 pennies feature the close AM design, where the letters A and M in America on the reverse are nearly touching. However, a small number were struck with the wide AM design, where the letters are spaced farther apart. This was actually a design intended for proof coins, but a mix-up at the mint allowed some to be released into circulation. These wide AM pennies are now considered major varieties, and collectors will pay a premium to own them, especially in high grades. In some cases, these varieties, when preserved in exceptional condition, have been auctioned for amounts that climb into the tens of thousands. Error coins also contribute to the allure. Off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and other mistakes that occur during the minting process all add unique charm and rarity. In 2000, several error pennies were discovered that showed dramatic doubling in the lettering or unusual misalignments. Because each error is unique, the market value can vary widely, but dramatic and rare errors can easily push a coin's value into the thousands. When combined with pristine condition, these errors can propel the 2000 penny toward that extraordinary range of $3,500 to $102,000. To put this into perspective, imagine someone digging through a jar of pennies sitting on their dresser for years. They pull out a coin from 2000, ready to spend it or roll it up for the bank, when they notice that the spacing between the A and M in America looks odd. That one observation could mean the difference between having a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth thousands of dollars. The excitement of this possibility is one of the reasons coin collecting remains such a beloved hobby. It transforms ordinary objects into treasures waiting to be discovered. Collectors often tell stories of coins being found in the most unexpected places. A 2000 wide AM penny in mint state might surface in a roll purchased from a bank. A circulation coin might be spotted by a sharp-eyed teenager just starting a coin collection, or a long-forgotten box of mint sets might reveal a flawless gem that had been sitting untouched for decades. Every discovery fuels the dream that more are out there, waiting for someone with patience and curiosity to find them. Auction houses have seen the drama unfold when these coins appear on the block. What begins as a modest opening bid quickly escalates as collectors recognize the rarity of what's in front of them. Bidding wars push the price higher and higher until the final hammer falls at a number that leaves onlookers stunned. A coin once minted for a fraction of a cent to produce now sells for tens of thousands of dollars, embodying the unpredictable magic of the numismatic world. It is in these moments that the 2000 penny transforms from currency into history, art, and investment all in one. The historical context of the year 2000 also gives the coin added meaning. It was the dawn of a new millennium, a time of excitement and uncertainty. Technology was advancing rapidly, the internet was changing everyday life, and the United States was heading into an era of transformation. The coins minted in that year carry with them that sense of transition, that symbolic bridge between the 20th and 21st centuries. When collectors hold a 2000 penny, they aren't just holding a piece of metal, they are holding a piece of history, a reminder of a pivotal moment in time. This is one of the reasons why collectors are drawn not just to old coins but to modern rarities as well. The 2000 penny proves that you don't need to go back centuries to find value. Even coins that seem too new to matter can contain hidden gems that rival the value of much older pieces. And because most people still dismiss pennies as worthless pocket change, the chances of finding one in circulation are still alive, adding to the thrill of the hunt. When you consider the range of value anywhere between $3,500 and $102,000, the 2000 penny becomes a symbol of possibility. It reminds us that value can be hidden in plain sight, that what seems insignificant can hold extraordinary worth. Collectors pursue these coins not just for their monetary value, but for the story they tell, the mystery they hold, and the connection they create between past and present. So the next time you come across a penny from the year 2000, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Take a closer look. Check the condition, study the details of the Lincoln Memorial, and pay attention to the spacing in the word America. That small piece of copper-plated zinc could be the key to a remarkable discovery. Because while most pennies from that year will remain what they are, ordinary pocket change, a rare few will always stand out as treasures worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. And somewhere out there, one of those remarkable coins could still be waiting to be found, ready to turn a simple penny into something truly extraordinary. The humble United States 1-cent coin has always been more than just a piece of currency. It is a little work of art, a piece of history, and in some rare cases, a treasure worth thousands upon thousands of dollars. The 2006 Lincoln penny is one of those coins that most people overlook because it is so modern, so ordinary in appearance, and so abundant in circulation. But hidden within this year of issue are certain coins that defy expectation, coins that have crossed the boundaries of being just a cent and have entered the world of rarity and immense value. What was once a single cent meant for vending machines, parking meters, and pocket change has in some cases risen to a staggering value ranging from $3,000 all the way up to $92,000. The year 2006 may feel recent compared to other famous collectible pennies that date back to the early 1900s or even the 1800s, but modern pennies carry their own fascination. At this time, the penny still carried the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that had already been in place for nearly a century since its debut in 1909. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stood proudly, a design that had been used since 1959 and was only a few years away from being retired for the Lincoln Bicentennial Series in 2009. Because of this, the 2006 penny represents one of the final years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, and that already gives it historical weight. But what truly makes some of these coins worth thousands is not just the design or the nostalgia of the Memorial reverse. It is the quality, the rarity, and the quirks of the minting process. The U.S. Mint struck billions of pennies in 2006, which means that, in ordinary circulated condition, they are everywhere. You could probably find several just by checking under your couch cushions or in your change jar. But coins that survive in pristine condition, especially those that come with rare errors or high mint state grades, become incredibly scarce. And it is within those examples that values skyrocket from 1 cent to tens of thousands of dollars. One of the most talked about features that collectors chase in 2006 pennies is their condition. The grading scale for coins, which runs from poor to perfect mint state, is the single most important factor in determining value. Most 2006 pennies that have seen circulation are scuffed, scratched, and worn down. They might still be shiny, but under close inspection they show the marks of everyday use. A coin like this is still worth face value. But a coin that has survived untouched, with razor-sharp details, a blazing red surface, and no marks or spots, could command thousands. A Lincoln penny graded in the highest levels, such as Mint State 69 or Proof 70, is an extraordinary rarity. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket change that looks ordinary but upon examination turns out to be nearly flawless. The difference between a coin with a grade of Mint State 65 and one graded Mint State 69 could mean a price jump from a few dollars into the thousands. It is this razor-thin distinction, judged under magnification by experts, that has sent certain 2006 pennies to auction where they sold for $30,000, $60,000, and even as much as $92,000. Then there are the error coins. The year 2006 produced some fascinating mistakes at the mint. Double dies, off-center strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchets are all examples of errors that can make a common penny rare. One particularly dramatic error is an off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank and the other part showing only a fraction of the image. Errors like these immediately stand out and draw attention from collectors who specialize in such oddities. Another type of error seen in 2006 pennies involves doubling, where letters or numbers appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. Such varieties can easily fetch prices in the thousands when verified and authenticated. The Lincoln Memorial reverse itself adds to the appeal. Though millions were minted, collectors have a sentimental attachment to this design. For decades, children filled their coin folders with memorial cents, and adults used them daily without giving them a second thought. But by 2010, this design was gone forever, replaced by the shield reverse. This means that the 2006 penny sits near the end of a 50-year era in American coinage. A perfect example of this design becomes a sort of time capsule, a way of preserving the image of Lincoln seated in his memorial, a symbol of American heritage. The story of valuable 2006 pennies isn't just about rarity, though it is also about discovery. There are numerous stories of people who unknowingly had valuable examples tucked away in jars or rolls. A person sorting through a roll of pennies from the bank might suddenly find one that glows differently under the light, its surface is flawless. Once graded, such a coin could reveal itself as a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. This possibility is what fuels the excitement of coin collecting. It is the thrill of the hunt, the dream that inside an everyday roll of coins lies something extraordinary. Collectors also point to the importance of eye appeal. A coin might technically grade well, but it is the brilliance, the luster, and the way it captures the eye that makes it truly desirable. Some 2006 pennies possess what collectors call red or deep red color, meaning that the coin retains its original copper shine without turning brown or losing its luster. Such coins are breathtaking to look at, and when they are combined with a high grade, they achieve the highest premiums in the market. Auction houses have seen incredible demand for these coins, and the numbers are staggering. Imagine an auctioneer presenting a 2006 Lincoln penny that most people would dismiss as pocket change. The bidding starts at a few $100s, then climbs to a few thousand, and within moments, collectors are locked in a bidding war. The excitement in the room is palpable, and by the time the hammer drops, the penny has sold for $92,000. For a coin whose face value is only 1 cent, that kind of transformation is nothing short of magical. The value range of $3,000 to $92,000 attached to the 2006 penny is not arbitrary. It reflects the reality of the market, where condition and rarity determine everything. A penny found in circulation is worth 1 cent. A penny with slight errors or above-average preservation might be worth hundreds or thousands. But a coin that combines perfection, error rarity, and breathtaking visual appeal crosses into the realm of the truly extraordinary. Achieving sales figures that boggle the mind. It is fascinating to think that while billions of these pennies were produced, only a tiny fraction will ever reach such levels of value. The vast majority will continue to circulate, be tossed in jars, or eventually get lost to time. But a few examples stand apart, preserved by chance or by collectors who recognized their beauty early on. These coins remind us that even in a year as recent as 2006, hidden treasures can exist. The story of the 2006 penny is also a story about perspective. To most people, a penny is just a penny. It is something people often dismiss, even leaving them on the ground rather than picking them up. But for those who know coins, every cent holds potential. Each one is worth examining because you never know what you might find. That is the magic of numismatics. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. And so, the next time you handle a 2006 Lincoln penny, stop and think about its possibilities. Look closely at the surfaces, the details, and the shine. You could be holding an everyday coin worth only a cent, or you could be holding a treasure valued at up to $92,000. That is the kind of possibility that keeps collectors searching, and it is what makes coins like the 2006 Lincoln penny unforgettable in the world of rare coins. The story of the United States 1-cent penny has always been fascinating because it shows how something as small and ordinary as a copper-colored coin can sometimes become an object of incredible value. The 2016 1-cent penny is a perfect example of this. At first glance, it looks like any other Lincoln cent you might have in your pocket or sitting inside a jar of loose change at home. But in the world of coin collecting, even the most recent coins can hold surprises. And in the case of certain 2016 pennies, those surprises can be worth anywhere from $2,600 to an astonishing $82,000. The fact that a coin most people treat as pocket change can reach such values makes the 2016 penny one of the most engaging stories in modern numismatics. The penny has always been an iconic coin in American currency. Since 1909, Abraham Lincoln's profile has appeared on the obverse, symbolizing not only his place in history but also the endurance of a design that has lasted for more than a century. The 2016 penny continued with the Lincoln Memorial Design Series introduced in 2010 to celebrate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, showing his portrait on the front and the Union Shield on the back. Millions were minted at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while proof versions were struck in San Francisco. For most people, these coins simply passed through hands, vending machines, and store counters unnoticed. Yet, for a sharp-eyed collector, 2016 offered an unexpected opportunity to find something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. The biggest factor in the value of certain 2016 pennies is condition. Modern coins are struck in enormous numbers, and while the mint strives for precision, most pieces show contact marks from the moment they leave the presses and jostle against each other. A coin that survives in flawless, pristine condition without scratches or blemishes is already rare. When submitted to professional grading services and returned with top mint state grades, these coins immediately stand apart from the ordinary. A perfectly preserved 2016 penny with a high grade can soar in value, with some examples crossing into the tens of thousands of dollars. Imagine a single coin struck less than a decade ago commanding as much as $82,000 at auction simply because it survived in a state of near perfection. That is what captivates collectors. But condition is not the only factor. Varieties and minting errors also play a huge role. In 2016, several notable double die varieties were discovered, where the design elements on the coin show faint but visible doubling due to a misalignment during the minting process. On some coins, letters in God We Trust or Liberty appear doubled, creating a dramatic visual effect that collectors love. These double die pennies from 2016 can command huge premiums depending on visibility and rarity. And then there are off-center strikes, coins where the design is shifted due to the blank planchet not being seated correctly in the press. These errors give the coin a one-of-a-kind appearance, often with part of the design missing. Such mistakes, though rare, are exactly what collectors dream of finding in circulation. The excitement around the 2016 penny also comes from the thrill of discovery. Unlike older rare coins that are unlikely to be found outside of coin shops and auctions, 2016 pennies are still out there in everyday use. This means that anyone, anywhere, could come across one without realizing its true value. Stories have surfaced of collectors searching through bank rolls or change jars and spotting something unusual on a 2016 penny that turned out to be a valuable variety. The idea that you could pull a coin worth $2,600 to $82,000 straight from circulation is what fuels the ongoing hunt. It transforms ordinary people into treasure seekers, and every trip to the store becomes a small adventure. To truly understand why some of these coins reach staggering values, you have to look at the collector mindset. Coin collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying rarity, perfection, and history. A flawless 2016 penny graded at the highest levels represents the best of the best, a coin that stands out among millions. In the world of collecting, competition is fierce. When one of these coins comes up for auction, the bidding wars can be intense, each participant determined to own a piece that may never surface again. That competitive spirit is part of why prices can skyrocket, pushing what should be a simple cent into the realm of $82,000 treasures. The Union Shield design itself adds another layer of significance. On the reverse of the 2016 penny, the shield is meant to symbolize Lincoln's preservation of the Union during the Civil War. It connects the coin to one of the most defining moments in American history. For collectors, owning a perfect or rare 2016 penny is not just about the monetary value but about holding onto a piece of art and symbolism that ties back to Lincoln's enduring legacy. Every detail, from the sharpness of Lincoln's profile to the bold lines of the shield, matters when it comes to value. Coins where these details are struck cleanly and fully are far more desirable than those where the design looks weak or flat. What makes the 2016 penny especially engaging is how recent it is. Collectors are used to hearing about old coins from the 1800s or early 1900s fetching high prices. But the fact that a coin minted in the last decade can be worth $82,000 is surprising. It reminds us that numismatic treasures are not confined to the past. They can appear in modern times, and they can be sitting in your pocket right now. This sense of immediacy makes the 2016 penny one of the most exciting modern coins to look out for. Consider the auction stories. Imagine sitting in a room where a simple 1-cent coin is placed on the block. The bidding starts at a few $100s, quickly climbs into the thousands, and then, as collectors recognize the rarity of what they're seeing, it continues higher. Soon it surpasses $10,000, then $20,000, and in some cases, pushes beyond $80,000 before the hammer falls. The room buzzes with excitement, and the winning bidder walks away knowing they now own one of the finest known examples of a 2016 penny. For them, it's not just a coin. It's a trophy, a testament to their dedication and passion for collecting. What makes all of this even more intriguing is the possibility that more of these rare examples are still out there waiting to be found. With millions of 2016 pennies still circulating, it is entirely possible that another double die variety, another flawless mint state coin, or another dramatic error will be discovered. That possibility keeps the hunt alive. Collectors and enthusiasts search diligently, knowing that one lucky find could change everything. And even for those who never find one, the thrill of the chase is part of the appeal. Every coin examined is a chance at uncovering something extraordinary. The 2016 penny shows us that rarity and value are not always tied to age. A coin does not need to be 200 years old to be worth a fortune. Sometimes, all it takes is a perfect strike, a rare error, or a unique variety to elevate a coin from everyday change to a collector's dream. It also shows that history is still being written in the world of numismatics. Just as the great rarities of the past were once newly minted coins, the modern rarities of today, like the 2016 penny, will be cherished by future generations, so the next time you receive change at the grocery store, or dump out a jar of coins to count them, take a closer look at those pennies, especially the ones dated 2016. Examine them carefully. Look for doubling in the letters, study the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, and pay attention to any unusual striking errors. Because while most will be worth only 1 cent, there's always a chance that one could be worth thousands, or even as much as $82,000. The thought that such value could be hiding in plain sight is what makes the 2016 penny one of the most captivating coins of our time.